Hey everyone, Travis here, and I am at the StarCraft Remastered press event with Grant, who's the engineering lead on this project. Talk to me a little bit about what this whole thing was like fusing, I'm sure, very old systems with some very new ones.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the most important things about StarCraft Remaster is that we don't touch any of the gameplay, we don't change it. So we had to kind of keep that old gameplay code base exactly as it was. So it meant kind of digging through this old code base and making sure that we just changed things around the outside, made those quality of life improvements, all the new UI, all that kind of stuff without getting in there and making fundamental changes.
As someone who knows very little about engineering or coding, I just imagine you basically like rappelling down into this vault of like ancient code that is maybe hard to decipher. I mean, what is it like? Because even if you're not changing much, obviously you have to kind of look at this stuff. What is this experience like, especially for people who, like myself, aren't familiar, looking at 20-year-old code and trying to figure it out?
Yeah, well, it was a really fun and awesome experience for me because you get to see code from people who started Blizzard 20 years ago. You get to see source code that's written by Mike Morhaime. I mean, that's pretty awesome. And like you say, the code has changed in the last 20 years, but it struck me that they were writing much better code than I was 20 years ago. So, but certainly, you have these old ideas and these new ideas. The language has evolved, so certainly we had to try and make sure that meshed nicely and it all fit together properly.
Yeah. Did Mike leave any messages in the code? Like Mike was here, remember me or whatever?
Mike's code is very proper, okay. just like you might expect from talking to the guy. Yeah.
Very clean, not crazy. Yeah. Now, so what were some of the goals that you all had in, because obviously you weren't changing the gameplay, but you are adding in new systems and functionality. So, how did you tackle that, and what were some of the goals involved in that?
Yeah, well, we had the opportunity to add a bunch of quality of life features. Obviously, aside from the HD graphics, we've got things like matchmaking in there, which is a cool new feature that we're able to add through accessing the new BattleNet system. So the game can now be launched through the Blizzard app, the Blizzard launcher, and that means that once you've signed into the Blizzard launcher, you don't need to sign it again. You can go straight into the game, and you don't need to worry about continually entering your credentials for every individual profile you've got. You can just click on them and get straight in there. So certainly working on that and the chat system, matchmaking, all that stuff around the game was really cool.
How much were you able to pull from, like obviously something like StarCraft to Warcraft 3, there's matchmaking systems there. Were you guys basically tasked with building something from the ground up, or were you able to sort of take, existing stuff essentially that exists from other Blizzard titles and help, bring that into this game?
We were definitely able to leverage the experience that the StarCraft 2 guys had in building their system, but nearly all of the code in StarCraft Remaster is StarCraft specific, StarCraft 1 specific, so it has been coded in that way from the ground up. But certainly we've been able to talk to the guys who worked on StarCraft 2 and benefit from their experience.
Were there any moments or challenging moments in all this stuff, again, with fusing the old with the new? Were there any moments where you're like, I don't even know how to get these two things to cooperate? Because, I mean, again, just not knowing, I would imagine there'd be moments like that.
Yeah, there are definitely moments like that. Certainly, whenever you're dealing with a really old system and trying to bring it into a modern era, you're going to have those kind of things, and also dealing with an old server stack, server technology that is essentially 20 years old, dealing with upgrade system and patch system that's essentially 20 years old, and bringing that kicking and screaming into the 21st century was some challenges for sure.
Now, one of the things that was interesting to me to hear was that, all these kind of add-ons and extra stuff that a lot of the community has MacGyvered into this game over time, you guys actually work directly with these guys and try to figure out ways to bring a lot of that into this game and make sure that all that functionality that people are kind of used to is still there. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that was really important to us. Add-ons that people have made that have enhanced the original product and that people had become accustomed to over the last 20 years was something we wanted to respect and bring into the remaster. So where possible, we did reach out to people who had developed this kind of stuff, but it wasn't always possible. But we were able to engage with the community, which was fantastic for them to give us feedback on what they liked, what they didn't like, and what they wanted to see in the remaster from these add-ons. So Things like hotkeys, for example, which was a contentious issue when we put it in the test realm in 1.18. And again, the community gave us the feedback on that we're able to cycle on that and produce what we believe is a much better version for the community in remaster. Anti-cheat measures so that we can prevent the hacking and exploits that people have been using. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you'll see in the game that have originated from the mods and the add-ons from 1.18. Yeah.
Now, for a lot of people that are watching this, I'm sure they remember Brood War very fondly, but maybe haven't even loaded it up recently, haven't experienced that classic Battle.net experience. For the people that might not even remember, because I'm sure a lot of people actually maybe think matchmaking was a part of it because it's so ubiquitous now with gaming. Maybe you can give us a brief overview of like before and after. Like what is it like now? What are we going to be getting with the remaster?
Sure. Well, like you say, with the matchmaking, in the old days, before matchmaking, you just had to get in a chat channel and kind of call someone out or trash talk your way to a one-on-one with someone. But now with matchmaking, you can find someone with equal skill level. And I think that's going to be particularly important for new people getting into the game. You'll find people that are of appropriate skill level rather than just getting destroyed by some master of the game who's been playing for 20 years, some pro. So I think that's certainly going to help. And as far as the graphics, I think is a standout, the artwork. We keep hearing this story of people who've played a little bit of the HD art, the remastered art, and then after they've played it for a while, they're like, oh, this is kind of how it always was. And then they go back and they see the original, they go, oh, okay, But it feels good that we're able to respect that style throughout the remaster project. Yeah. So I think the remaster will feel at home for people once they've played it a little bit. Yeah.
Sort of winding things down here. One of my favorite pieces of functionality, I don't know if you or your team had a hand in this, but being able to hit F5 and see just the, like you said, you play it for a while and you're like, oh yeah, and then you hit F5 and you look at what it used to be. Mm-hmm. If you were involved in that, maybe you can talk about the decision to even include that functionality in the game. And I don't even know how difficult it is to just have like the graphics just switch like that with the key press.
Yeah, that's quite a challenge actually. Originally it was a debug feature to help us figure out, if things were one-to-one because we needed to respect that one-for-one mapping. But people loved it so much that we're like, okay, I guess we've got to keep this in as a feature. It's like you say, it's really cool to see that difference and be able to see it instantly. But it certainly has caused some big challenges for us to get over.
I don't imagine anybody getting into a big fight and being like, okay, I need to go see this the way it used to be and hitting that F5 key. I'm sure people use it once or twice, but it is like a really great way, I think, to sort of celebrate the changes in the game. Is there anything, by the way, that you would like to say to any of the fans that are eagerly awaiting the remastered version of this game?
Yeah, well, for us and Classic Games and Blizzard, this has been a labor of love. We're all fans of the game. We've all been playing it since it came out, and really hope you guys love it as much as the effort we've put into making it.
Thank you so much for the interview. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to playing the game coming out in August. And for everyone else, you can check out the rest of our coverage here at the State of League YouTube channel. Hey, to keep this channel ad-free, keep using AdBlock, or feel free to support me over at travisgafford.com/support.